multiple independent warheads.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. NASA facing some backlash on social media after canceling the first ever all-woman spacewalk over spacesuit availability issues. Critics calling it sexist. One of the two astronauts set for the walk this Friday trained in both medium and large suits, but determined after a walk last week she does need a medium, and only one medium was prepped for Friday's walk. So NASA says to keep timing and safety on track, she pulled herself from Friday's lineup. This is Fox News.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. An ordinance that will require fireworks tents to be 100 feet from any structure in Fort Dodge was amended to adding trailers and shipping containers to the measure. Due to the amendment, City Council had to start over and re-vote on the first reading. The measure passed 5-2. The entire state of Iowa will be partaking in a tornado drill tomorrow morning. Webster County Emergency Management Coordinator Dylan Hagan has the details.
10 o'clock, the Weather Service is going to do a test tornado watch. And then to follow that at 10:15, there will be a tornado warning, a test tornado warning issued across the state. And at that point, we will be activating the outdoor warning sirens. We're going to be testing a new system that we have in there, so the sirens will probably be going off more than once. So don't be concerned if you hear them go off several times.
A woman from rural Manly is charged with 17 counts of animal neglect after more than 150 animals were seized from an alleged puppy mill back in November. Radio Hour's Bob Fisher reports.
The charges were filed last week in Worth County District Court against 66-year-old Barbara Kavars. Officials seized 154 dogs and 4 cats from the property. In simple visits to the property, a Worth County Sheriff's deputy says he saw kennels covered with feces and mud and visibly skinny dogs with no water and little food. Court records described overcrowded and filthy conditions at the rural Manly property. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals cared for the animals and called the operation a puppy mill. Kavars in January wanted 9 dogs and 4 cats to be returned to her. Our Worth County Magistrate Douglas Kroll ruled against Kavars, saying the dogs and cats are among those neglected and that they qualified as threatened animals. Animal neglect is a simple misdemeanor. Each charge is punishable by up to 30 days in jail and up to a $625 fine. Bob Fisher, Radio Iowa, Manly.
At Monday's Fort Dodge City Council meeting, the council rejected bids for the Olson Park renovations project. Fort Dodge City Manager David Fierick explained what's next for the project.
Next step is to get the thing redesigned and bid out more appropriately to our budget. So we are going to, at our next council meeting, set a hearing for another bid date, have the hearing, and then we'll get good bids, and then we'll be awarding the contract. So it'll be at least a month from now before we're hopefully awarding the contract.
Fierick says the city will extend out the construction time period and redesign some of the project to make it more cost-effective. In local sports, summer collegiate baseball is coming to Fort Dodge this summer. The Fort Dodge Gypsum Miners will play in the Pioneer Collegiate Baseball League. Owner Donnie Roberts says he's excited to bring collegiate baseball to Fort Dodge.
I hope Fort Dodge realizes we want to be an asset to Fort Dodge. And also we want to bring a good entertainment value on the nights, bring the whole family out there. You know, there'll be skits between innings, the announcers. We try to bring a festival atmosphere for that night. So it's not just all about baseball. It's about people having a good time in the field that night.
The Gypsum Miners season starts May 30th and ends the first week of August. For more information, contact Roberts at 715-790-2941. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 53. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows level off around 42. Highs around 68. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun. Mid-50s Thursday, 40s Friday with a chance for mixed precipitation. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 52.
When it's time to make over that new room or your home, come to Jim's Carpet One Floor and Home. Hi, this is Dean Sternberg with Jim's Carpet One. Now, during our home makeover flooring sale, you'll save up to $1,000 on select floors, luxury vinyl, hardwood, tile, and more, featuring Tigressa, the stronger, softer carpet. We make it easy for you to get your perfect floor with the special financing available. Don't miss the home makeover sale for a limited time only at Jim's Carpet One Floor and Home. Also, don't forget to visit our Steals and Deals room for even more savings now at Jim's Carpet One across from Decker Truck Line.
Financing and approved credit. See store store for details.
The Domestic Sexual Assault Outreach Center would like to present the 24th Annual DSOC Cake Auction to be held on April 13th at Iowa Central Community College East Campus. Bring your friends and bid on live and silent auction items that are all paired with delicious and amazingly decorated cakes. All proceeds go to DSOC General Funds so that we can continue to provide free and confidential services to victims. At DSOC, we believe that everyone deserves a violence-free life. Don't miss the 24th Annual DSOC Cake Auction, April 13th at Iowa Central East Campus, Fort Dodge.
Michael Devine. Michael Devine at AM 1400.
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
With 60 rounds of freedom.
You don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. Yes, we're going to tell the truth, make it matter, and we're never going to be boring. And sitting with me today is the truth, David the Truth Furick, city manager. I'm the mayor of Manville, so I think that makes you my subordinate, but I'm not sure.
But I might be slightly boring.
Well, you know, as long as I'm in the room, it can be completely boring. So then we're good. You know, we were listening to a commercial about, or a news bit actually from our news guy, Alex Benzagala, about a semi-pro baseball team that's coming our way. Mm-hmm. And right now they have plans to play down at Patterson Field, which is kind of odd, I'm thinking, since we have beautiful Harlan Rogers up north of town. So what's the deal here, David? Why can't we get this this budding and important league, I think, off the Pioneer League is what they're in. Why can't we have this out at Harlan Rogers Park where everybody can find it and get into it easily? Patterson Field is a nice field, but if you're not from Fort Dodge, it's hell to find. You know, I know how to get there. You know how to get there, but not everybody does. There's not a lot of great parking. There's not a huge concession stand or seating or anything like that. So what are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, their plans are to play at Patterson Field right now. There are going to be some discussions on how to get games incorporated into Harlan Rogers, whether that makes sense for, you know, both Harlan Rogers and the team. I mean, there are a couple immediate hurdles that need to get worked out. I mean, because they play night games, so they need lights. And at Harlan Rogers, that the only baseball field with lights is the baseball field that St. Ed's uses, and they'll use throughout the summer. So we'd have to figure out how to schedule both teams without conflicts, and that's something that really isn't necessarily, I don't think this is city's deal, but the team and St. Ed's could work through that. You know, the other issue that I was aware of is this is a team that needs to have beer sold in the stands because they make their money off to support the team off the beverage sales. And so we don't do it on that side. Not to say we couldn't, but I don't know what I could, you know, standing here today, I can't tell you the rules, what it would take to do, what it doesn't take to do. I know other places they do have high school teams and this league playing on the same field. And
did they come to the city, to the Parks and Recs department and ask?
Well, a couple of years.
They must have. I mean,
actually, they hadn't made a formal ask to use Harlan Rogers. A couple of years ago, I think they were looking into it, and we addressed some of the concerns at that point. But and
what were the concerns at that point?
Likewise, the same thing: the conflicting schedule with St. Ed's baseball and alcohol sales.
Well, I don't know. God forbid Catholics drink. I mean, God forbid a Catholic would take any.
Well, it's the park rules, not necessarily
park rules. Okay, yeah. Because I know some Catholics and they drink. You know that
they do.
Seriously,
I'm Catholic.
Are you Catholic?
Yeah.
So you don't look like a Catholic. I don't know. You know,
does that make me part of the mafia?
Yes, yes, it does. As a matter of fact,
I shouldn't even brought up that subject.
I didn't. No, that's all right. Here's a little. I now know what to play while you're here. Oh, yeah. There we go. Da, da, da. No, I didn't know that you were Catholic. I just assumed with your huge Presbyterian features that that you were not. No, you know.
I don't even want to ask what that means.
All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's good. And, you know, Catholics all have knee problems, you know, from all that damn kneeling. I know. So, yeah. Anyway, David Furick is our guest, AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. No, did not know you were part of the Catholic Mafia. Didn't know it, but it's good to know.
So we're going to have to go to games at Patterson Field for this team this year. All right.
As it stands right now, that's
All
what
right.
they're scheduled for.
All right.
Could be more news forthcoming. We'll
Okay.
have to figure that out.
Okay. I'm going to ask you why we're even talking about fireworks, but we're going to have to talk about fireworks again, apparently.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. Why are we talking
Of course.
about fireworks?
Yeah. Well, because they you guys talked about it last night at the council meeting. I thought it was all set to, the agreement was all set up. But apparently, I'm talking to you because the city staff apparently whispered in somebody's ear that they wanted to keep carts and trailers and all those things at least 100 feet away from any building, as well as the tent.
Yeah.
That came from city staff. So your city staff, you are the king of city staff.
So, I mean, really what it boils down to is we didn't think in that level of detail when we proposed the ordinance before. We thought intense, but then as our inspector gets ready, just reviewing the ordinance is like, well, we weren't specific enough on that. So we should be a little more specific and put those definitions that they have to be 100 feet from the structures as well.
So this was
that's really the change is to clarify that trailers or containers or anything that's holding the fireworks is going to have to be 100 feet from a structure as well.
How about trailers or containers that don't have fireworks?
I don't think we really care about those.
You don't care about those, but are you going to go check them just to make sure they don't?
Well, I'm assuming that part of the inspection would be, especially if it says like, Fred's Fireworks on the side of the truck and it's up against the building. Our inspector is going to ask, hey, you can't have that there. If he says it doesn't have anything in it, well, it's probably okay. But usually what they do with the tents, because they are less secure, is they move the fireworks to a secure container at night or when it's not occupied. So my guess is they're going to have to keep those away from the buildings too.
Don David Furico. That's kind of got a ring to it. Yeah. A little bit of a ring. Yeah. I'm sure glad I smoked all those years. Just a second.
Yeah.
So we have to go through the whole process again.
It's an amendment, so you have to have 3 readings on your ordinance. So yeah, basically. So what would have been second reading last night was first reading again. So we'll do 2 more readings.
Okay. Last night was the first reading?
Last night was first reading.
Okay.
So we'll
was everybody annoyed with you about having to do this all, again?
No, you seem to be the most disturbed by this.
I am disturbed. Yeah. Because I'm always thinking somebody's up to something when there's fireworks. So I know a couple of council people over there have got the anti-fireworks people in their ear. So yeah, I kind of pay attention to what's going on. I got up this morning and I should have gone last night. Just so a couple of council people would have given me the bird. Because I gotta like that stuff anyway, Get it stirred up a little bit. It gets a little boring, so you gotta do a little something like that. But well, anyway, we need to talk about spring cleaning. You're on the wrong side of that, of course. You're just wrong today, David.
Yeah, we are making massive changes.
Massive changes to spring. What are you doing? Banning it or what?
No.
Banning it and refusing to let anybody into the landfill unless they bring their stuff in
I
a
would say
wheelbarrow.
something, but it'll be taken out of context.
Go, come on.
No. So really, okay, so we're not making massive changes. We are also though making it very, I would say, we're trying to communicate in way more in advance of that. But first, the basics. The weekends we're going to be, or the weeks for spring cleaning. So if you live in the northeast side of town, it's Wednesday, April 17th. If you live in the southeast side of town, it's Wednesday, April 24th. Northwest side of town is Wednesday, April 1st. And southwest side of town is, well, I said April 1st. Sorry, Wednesday, May 1st for the Northwest. And then Wednesday, May 8th for the southwest side of town. Now, here's what I want everyone to do. If you have a Facebook account, go to the city's Facebook site and look for the spring cleanup days, and then pick the spring cleanup day that matches your portion of town. It's an event we set up, and click that you're interested or going to it, because then we will send out emails leading up to the event as reminders. Here's what we're doing. Here's the rules. Here's what you should set out, when you should set it out. In addition, we're going to allow a little forum. So if somebody has something they're setting out, they could say, hey folks, I'm setting out an old lawnmower if anyone wants it,
right,
at such and such address, and they can come by and get it, since it is kind of a used article exchange.
Tell me about it,
well.
Man. I had one year when I was over in 3rd Avenue North, big pile of garbage. Somebody came and got it all.
Yeah.
Piece by piece, I think. But,
Yeah, there were days when that by the time the cleanup comes, all my stuff was gone, and it wasn't that good stuff by any means, but it was all gone. And in addition, to kind of probably the other quick reminder for folks that are listening is, if you have items that fit in your carts, put it, and you're going to get rid of them on spring cleanup days. Try to fit them in your cart now. That'll really be beneficial for the crews out there working, because we're equipped to take the bulk items. It's easy. We got these loaders with clamp buckets on the front. They can grab the big items and just throw them in a truck. But if you got a lot of little items, try to throw them in your containers now to get rid of them, so that you're not just holding on to them for spring cleanup days.
Right. I mean, people can just set boxes out, right? Or do they have to?
Well, they do, and that's the thing. They set a lot of little boxes or little bags or just a bunch of stuff they've gotten picked up. And the point is, if it fits in your garbage can, throw it in there. That the container can be heavier. Used to be, we had a strict rule back when humans were actually lifting the garbage cans. It couldn't be more than 35 pounds. So people ended up with heavier things or just bigger things that they stored all year and got rid of them on spring cleanup days. Well, now you can put more than 35 pounds in those containers. Just fill them up. If you fill them up, that truck will lift them. Unless it's lead or something. Really, don't. But
that 35-pound limit was violated more times than I could ever think of. It's probably why we got a former sanitation guys walking around with bad bags and knees.
But the truck can handle like over 1,000 pounds lifting. So
yeah,
feel free to fill that thing up. You can't overfill it where stuff's going to tip off the side or blow away in the wind. But feel free to put stuff in there now. That'll help everybody out.
Sure. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. You have a question or comment for City Manager David Furyk, Pope David O. Furyk, 515-955-1400, 955-1400. So I guess there's going to be maps available so we can tell what do you, when you say northwest part of town, I'm kind of curious what that means.
Yeah, there's a definition of what the northwest part of town and specifically what streets that entails. On the Facebook page, there's actually a map that shows what that means, so that what your part of town to put it out in.
On the City of Fort Dodge Facebook
page, yeah.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have something in the paper, I think in a couple weeks, that should have a map in it as well.
That's good. That's good.
So people can see that.
Yeah,
trying to get the word out, trying to get, and there'd be other rules, because there's things that get set out that can't get, TVs can't go out, tube monitors, all those things can't go out. We can't accept them. Tires, you can't take now. The landfill will take tires for a fee. The landfill will also take TV and tube monitors for a fee as well. They'll do all that, but you can't set it out on spring cleanup days. You have to take it to them. Use motor oil and all those things. The household hazardous waste site can take those as well, but you can't set them out on your spring cleanup day.
Yeah. Boy, there had to be a lot of used motor oil. I guess. Does the landfill, I suppose, serves mechanics garages and those sorts of things? I mean, is that what we're talking about? Or do they have their own waste disposal sites?
Well, I would say mechanics garages probably have their own waste disposal operation for their oil, their bulk oil. Some places have burned it, but I'm assuming. So mostly the household hazardous waste site is just for household hazardous waste. So when you have things like motor oils, paints, varnishes, other things that shouldn't go down the drain or go in the garbage, the household hazardous waste site can take.
Okay. I heard today, and I don't know, a friend sent me this, that the Senate voted to outlaw speed camera cars in the state of Iowa.
They did. I didn't hear that.
Well,
I didn't even think that was a proposal.
Well, I didn't either, unless it's, a friend of mine sent it to me, but, it could be something from a couple of years ago when the Senate did ban speed camera cars. But of course, it didn't get out of the House. Then it went to the Supreme Court. And as I've said before, the Supreme Court is never going to vote against business, because business actually can run the Supreme Court out of business. Don't tick us off, boys. We'll let you be judges, but we're running things around here.
I would assume if the Senate voted on, or even if the bill was coming to the floor, that the League of Cities would have been informing the cities about it, because the League of Cities has taken a pretty strong stance that that's a city right, a city responsibility. What, not that the majority of the cities within the Iowa
What,
League
to
have-
tax without representation?
No,
To arbitrarily tax?
to enforce public safety.
Oh, yeah. Right. Public safety. I nuked you on that one.
Did you?
I totally nuked you.
Oh, good.
Public safety.
My goal is to get nuked every show. Right?
I'll help you in that. I'll help you in that effort. Then. Yeah.
So I heard there's some proposals out there, but I haven't seen anything in writing. And the proposals, would potentially put in some regulations that aren't any more stringent than what we actually do now, as far as having, an appeals process, having it reviewed, the kind of things we're actually doing. So, I mean, there was nothing that was too alarming to me, but again, I haven't seen the specifics of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, some evil people down in Des Moines have even suggested that if cities are going to have these annoying things, that the money should stay in the city rather than whacking it up.
Stay in the city.
Yeah, that all of the proceeds from, if it's really public safety you're concerned about, and by public safety, let's be honest, it's a regressive tax, that the regressive tax money.
It's a regressive tax on people with lead feet.
Oh, well,
just like the lottery's a tax on people who are math deficient.
Yeah, well, yeah. But there are those, including the liberals at the Des Moines Register, who believe that if we're going to have these cars, that the money should stay within the city, and the city should operate the cameras, and the city should use the revenue then as it sees fit.
So is the point that that it shouldn't be shared, or the deals that we have that like $30 of each ticket goes to the owner of the car who does the car and does our billing process? They're saying we should.
It's a little creepy to do business with Big Brother in another state. That's the whole idea. I know you're perfectly all right with invading our homes and taking away the few creature comforts that we have, like spring cleaning, but not all of us are on board with that whole thing there, dude. And another suggestion or another proposal being discussed is that, and you'll really hate this, is that speed camera cars should only be used in areas where it has been proven to have a lot of accidents. In other words, not between Central Avenue and the Veterans Bridge, where there hasn't been an accident there in years.
What's a lot? What's the definition of a lot?
Well, let's say one, because there hasn't been one accident between Central Avenue and Veterans Bridge. So how about that? One accident.
Okay.
One accident. And you can put in a speed camera car, but if there's no accidents,
if people are speeding on your street and you call us and say, "Hey, we got a speeding problem on the street, but there's been no accidents," we can't set the speed car there and slow down people on your street so they don't hurt anybody or crash into anybody.
How many calls like that do you really get?
Quite a few.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are the callers? I mean, is this Friendship Haven parking lot or what?
Probably people who are fitted within your demographic.
So how many cameras then, because the speed cameras are known to be either by the Veterans Bridge or trying to catch lab workers coming up the hill from by Amigos there. So I was unaware that the city was responding to city complaints and placing speed cameras on residential, actually very lightly traveled residential areas, hoping to catch one teenage miscreant speeding on his way home from school.
Yeah.
Didn't know it.
Usually what you happen is the speed complaints are on the higher traveled areas, typically.
So it's not a neighborhood thing. Now, you just told me it was a neighborhood. Now here you are.
Well, I'm just saying that usually the complaints come from people that are in neighborhoods. 29th Street is a good example. That's a neighborhood street.
That's a neighborhood.
But it's prone to speeding because it's so long.
Yes, it is.
20th Avenue North, between Corpus Christi Cemetery and the houses across the street, that's prone to speeding because it's kind of a long straightaway and it's a wide street. So there's requests to put out there because there's speeding problems there. I mean, top of my head, those are the places I can think of. The place out by the labs on, I can't think of the name of the street that heads out to Willow Ridge.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember.
The car's out there maybe once a month for a couple days. usually when I go out to Rotary, I see it too. That's an area where people are prone to speed. They come into town, they don't slow down, they don't heed the 25-mile-per-hour sign.
25-mile-hour.
Well, it is a neighborhood. I mean, there's houses on one side.
You're reaching, David. Reaching.
I'm not reaching. There's legitimate reasons for all this.
And that would be public safety. Oh, I said public safety, so I have to nuke myself. You're responding to complaints because you are a concerned civil servant doing your job courageously.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I liked about it, because I remember when I first started here, you get the speed complaints, and you'd have to send an officer out there to do radar and do speed enforcement. And one of the things that I tried to do when I first got here is I wanted to report, okay, when was the officer out there and what was the results, and it was a little burdensome putting it together. And then what it turned out is the officer wasn't out there very much. They tried to do it over a 2-week period, and the time they were out there was very infrequent because of other duties they had to go to do any other call for service. Now you set that car out there, and a car is not going to get distracted by having to go any other calls for service, and it can just report the speeds, and we can tell somebody, yeah, we put it out there for a week, and here's what happened. We had.
Well, how many of these little one-armed bandits do we have? I thought we only had a couple of them.
I think we only have a couple. I don't. At one point, honestly, I don't know for sure whether we had. At one point, we had 3, but I think we might be at 2 right now. Well,
so there isn't any consideration given to the amount of money that is brought in by these speed cameras if they're out in a neighborhood somewhere. Say 9th Avenue South. Somebody calls. Do you run out there with a speed camera?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. So you have 2 calls, one in a low or an area where there's very light traffic, both north and south. That means you're not going to make much money with those cameras. Is that going to be okay with the company that expects a check from us every month?
The company doesn't tell them where they go. Tell us where they go.
No, but they'll let you know if they're not making any money.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
If they chose to. I don't know what the clauses are, but there's termination clauses in the agreements, and I guess if it turned out it wasn't a good deal, they could terminate.
And we don't want that because of public safety.
Public safety.
Public safety. Okay, I gotta do it one more time. You're a sport for being on, David. You're a sport for being on. There we go. Public safety. Good God. Anyway, David Friggs has been our guest. You got anything else before we go here?
If we got a little bit of time, I could talk a little bit about the dams. Everyone's, so
thank you very much.
We'll probably get some more video up soon of the rest of the dam removal. That was pretty popular on our Facebook site. But I want people to know the hydro dam isn't 100% complete yet. The company has to come back when the waters go down and do some work. So if by chance, I don't expect this to happen, but if by chance the waters stay up through a good portion of the summer and people start kayaking, it is not going to be safe to kayak around the what remains of the hydroelectric dam at this point. So we'll probably have to put some notices out on the shoreline to let people know, because people are going to people who do this are going to know that bridge is, or that thing's gone, but it's at this point it's not safe. It's actually still creating one heck of a wave if you went out and look at it. So there's that, and they have to come back and have to put in some other shoreline stuff, remove the concrete from the shoreline on the west side, just south of the dam, and then they're going to put in what's called a J-hook, which is a shoreline protection feature on the east side of the river. So there's still work to be done. People need to know that.
I don't know if you would know this or not, but some are speculating that some of the flooding we've had as a result of the dam being taken out, that the river is running a little quicker as a result, and it's swollen a little bit more because of the dam being out, and it has resulted in some flooding. That's just a rumor going around town. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
It's just, okay.
I mean, I don't know how. For people to speculate that, they just need to maybe just learn a little more about what the dam's purpose was. I mean, they really didn't hold up water. Yeah, they changed the water levels, like basically like a stair step. I mean, it didn't block water back behind it, so it wouldn't raise, cause any additional flooding. I mean, if anything, the hydro dam removal probably would have reduced the water level a little bit upstream. But the little dam probably had little to no impact. A little bit of water level change upstream, but not much.
Okay. Let's go to the phones. AM 1400 KVFD. Good afternoon. You're on the air with David Fierig.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I was down by Finney Park with my pup earlier and saw a bunch of trees taken down going up toward that water tower. I've been out of town for a while. I didn't know what that was about.
Say that again, please.
I was down at Finney Park earlier today with my dog, and there's a bunch of trees taken down heading up to that water tower behind the water treatment plant.
Okay.
I was wondering what that was.
You know, I don't know for sure. My guess is it's probably some work ahead of the water plant expansion. So the water plant is going to expand to the north towards the railroad tracks a good bit with the new water quality with the reverse osmosis. So I'm guessing they're probably removing trees because of that, but I don't know for sure.
All right, we're gonna let you go, David. It was a good session today. A lot of questions answered, a lot of things covered, and of course, I got to bug the hell out of Fierig. So it all worked out. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
All right.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
Okay, 4:35 AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Beautiful day. I think we're in spring. Yes. News is coming up. This is KVFD Fort Dodge.
Hi, I'm Jamie Brundage, owner of Historic Bruce Funeral Home. When you're planning the memorialization of your loved one, you're telling their story and sharing special memories with your family and friends. At Historic Bruce Funeral Home, we're proud to help you celebrate the life of your loved one, and we're here to guide you with your selections as we help you and your family say goodbye in a way that's right for you. Our staff is committed to compassionate care and attention to detail. Historic Bruce Funeral Home, Fort Dodge. Online at brucesfuneralhome.com.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. An ordinance that will require fireworks tents to be 100 feet from any structure in Fort Dodge was amended to adding trailers and shipping containers to the measure. Due to the amendment, City Council had to start over and re-vote on the first reading. The measure passed 5-2. The entire state of Iowa will be partaking in a tornado drill tomorrow morning. Webster County Emergency Management Coordinator Dylan Hagan has the details.
10 o'clock, the Weather Service is going to do a test tornado watch. And then to follow that at 10:15, there will be a tornado warning, a test tornado warning issue across the state. And at that point, we will be activating the outdoor warning sirens. We're going to be testing a new system that we have in there, so the sirens will probably be going off more than once. So don't be concerned if you hear them go off several times.
A woman from rural Manly is charged with 17 counts of animal neglect after more than 150 animals were seized from an alleged puppy mill back in November. Radio Hour's Bob Fisher reports.
The charges were filed last week in Worth County District Court against 66-year-old Barbara Kavars. Officials seized 154 dogs and 4 cats from the property. In simple visits to the property, a Worth County Sheriff's deputy says he saw kennels covered with feces and mud and visibly skinny dogs with no water and little food. Court records described overcrowded and filthy conditions at the rural Manly property. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals cared for the animals and called the operation a puppy mill. Kavars in January wanted 9 dogs and 4 cats to be returned to her. Our Worth County Magistrate Douglas Kroll ruled against Kavars, saying the dogs and cats are among those neglected and that they qualified as threatened animals. Animal neglect is a simple misdemeanor. Each charge is punishable by up to 30 days in jail and up to a $625 fine. Bob Fisher, Radio Iowa, Manly.
At Monday's Fort Dodge City Council meeting, the council rejected bids for the Olson Park renovations project. Fort Dodge City Manager David Fierick explained what's next for the project.
Next step is to get the thing redesigned and bid out more appropriately to our budget. So we are going to, at our next council meeting, set a hearing for another bid date, have the hearing, and then we'll get good bids, and then we'll be awarding the contract. So it'll be at least a month from now before we're hopefully awarding the contract.
Fierick says the city will extend out the construction time period and redesign some of the project to make it more cost effective. In local sports, summer collegiate baseball is coming to Fort Dodge this summer. The Fort Dodge Gypsum Miners will play in the Pioneer Collegiate Baseball League. Owner Donnie Roberts says he's excited to bring collegiate baseball to Fort Dodge.
I hope Fort Dodge realizes we want to be an asset to Fort Dodge, and also we want to bring a good entertainment value on the nights, bring the full family out there. You know, there'll be skits between innings, the announcers. We try to bring a festival atmosphere for that night, so it's not just all about baseball, it's about people having a good time in the field that night.
The Gypsum Miners season starts May 30th and ends the first week of August. For more information, contact Roberts at 715-790-2941. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 53. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows level off around 42. Highs around 68 tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun. Mid-50s Thursday, 40s Friday with a chance for mixed precipitation. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 52.
This is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice for Dodge, 442. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce's Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South here in Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce's Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. Twyla Benson of Fort Dodge has died at the age of 66. She died yesterday at Trinity Regional Medical Center. Services for Twyla Benson are pending. Mr. Thomas Douglas Pingle, 86 years old of Fort Dodge, died Sunday at the Simpson Health Center in the Friendship Haven. A service honoring the life of Thomas Pingle will be held at 3:30 in the afternoon this Saturday at the First Presbyterian Church here in Fort Dodge. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce's Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South in Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce's Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. 443 at AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 50 degrees.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. May corn down 2.5 at 377 1/4. July down 2 1/4 at 387. September closed down 2 at 393 1/4. December down 1.5 at $4 1/4. May soybeans closed down 5 3/4 at $9.75. July down 5 3/4 at $9.14 1/4. August beans down 5 3/4 at $9.20 1/4. And November down a nickel at $9.34 3/4. May wheat closed down 1/4 penny at $4.69 1/4. Soybean meal down $4.10 a ton at $3.11. April live cattle down 67 cents at $126.90. June down 40 at $120.72. March feeder cattle up 57 cents at $142.75. April up 2 at $146.22. April lean hogs closed up 107 at $79.72 and May down a dime at 86.65.
From
From the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street stocks ending in the green, but off their best levels of the session, with energy and financial sectors boosting the market today. The Dow up 140 points, Nasdaq up 54, S&P 500 up 20. And shares of Apple reversing course and closing down 1%. A U.S. trade judge will recommend banning some iPhones from being imported into the U.S. after finding that Apple violated a patent held by mobile chip maker Qualcomm. Now, it's unclear if the recommended ban will be imposed or even which iPhone models will be affected. And the pioneering use of drones entering the UPS network, with the delivery company partnering with drone startup Matternet to deliver medical samples via unmanned drones at WakeMed's hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Michelle Obama's memoir Becoming is becoming the most successful memoir in history. Its publisher Penguin Random House says nearly 10 million copies have been sold since its release in November. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Hillary Barsky.
The tradition, the suspense, the race. Here's your chance to experience the Kentucky Derby firsthand. Rocket Mortgage is giving away 20 VIP trips to Churchill Downs to witness the Kentucky Derby. And one lucky winner will receive $250,000 toward a new home or pay off their mortgage. Enter today at homestretchsweepstakes.com.
No purchase necessary. 21 years or older. Ends on April 7, 2019. HomestretchSweepstakes.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Take the worry out of winter with a winter weather advisor on KVFD, brought to you by Community Health Center Fort Dodge, offering dental, behavioral health, and general medical assistance for men, women, and children. They're committed to your well-being. Community Health Center. Get to know them. And Creative Cakes, making life sweet with espresso, lunch, gourmet cupcakes, and other sweet treats. Creative Cakes in the Crossroads Mall, Fort Dodge. They make life sweet. Listen for the winter weather advisor on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
The availability of phosphorus is key. Hello, I'm Megan Grebner, and this is Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Verdesian Life Sciences. Phosphorus plays a critical role in every major building block of the plant. In this Managing for Profit, Todd Carpenter with Verdesian Life Sciences talks about how farmers can make sure their crops are getting the most out of their available phosphorus. We'll find out more on Brownfield right after this.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you will feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Phosphorus is critical to crop development. It helps to increase root growth and helps get plants off to a strong start. Todd Carpenter with Verdesian Life Sciences says it's important for the crop to have access to phosphorus from start to finish.
Providing disease resistance, improving water use efficiency, all of these areas phosphorus plays a role in. And the crop tends to use phosphorus throughout the growing season. If we look at corn as an example, it's almost 50-50 split between germination and VT, and then from VT on through maturity. About half, or a little better than half actually, of the phosphorus used by the plant gets taken up during grain fill after VT in corn.
He tells Brownfield there is plenty of phosphorus in the soil. The challenge becomes making sure the crop can utilize it.
If we look at what's available, what's in the soluble pool at any point in time, there's only 1 to 2 pounds of phosphorus available to the plant. So that necessitates us putting fertilizer out. So we apply phosphate fertilizers. And even when we apply our phosphate fertilizers, they're still subject to being fixed in the soil. They'll bind with the calcium, magnesium, aluminum, and iron in the soil and be lost to the plant for that season and won't be available again until, well, honestly, we don't know when. And all soils have the ability and the capacity to fix phosphates. When we look at it, we make a phosphorus application. Anywhere from 60 to 95% of the phosphate fertilizer we apply is going to be fixed in the soil.
Carpenter says there are products that can help unlock the P that's fixed into the soil, making it available to the plant.
Avail T5 is part of Verdesian's polymer technology, and it's part of our new T5 polymer. By coating fertilizers with our polymers, it allows us to protect that phosphate, because in the immediate area of that fertilizer, our polymer will bind with the calcium, aluminum, iron, and magnesium that's in the soil solution and prevent those cations from tying up the phosphate.
I'm Megan Grebner with Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Verdesian Life Sciences.
Spring into savings at Mackey Motors in Lake City. 2018 Chevy half-ton crew cabs up to $12,500 off, or a 2019 Chevy heavy-duty Cape 2500 crew cab up to $10,800 off. Try off this 2018 Buick Regal, take $9,500 off, or this 2018 Buick Cascada convertible, $9,900 off. We need 30 more deals by the end of the month. Find new roads at Mackey Motors in Lake City or MackeyMotors.com while they last.
Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services.
Oh, why not just cremate me when I'm gone?
Sounds simple, doesn't it? However, there are many options to consider when cremation is chosen. From simple to detailed, we at Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you create a unique commemoration.
Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services.
Have you ever wondered how the brain works? What makes us tick? Join me, Greg Woods, every Wednesday morning for all the latest news on the brain, on aging, and the science behind it all. It's The Mind Boggles, every Wednesday morning at 8:30 on AM 1400 KVFD.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
It's a little sexy, but more disturbing.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
You know, I want to thank David Turek, the city manager, for being here once again. I think he's certainly worth about 3 city council people and what he brings to the table and what he explains. You know, one thing I forgot to ask David Furyk, and it's a huge bummer. David Furyk has been allowed by the city to spend more money on his own authority, up to $25,000, I guess. I don't know why that spending, why city manager Furyk needs that level, but I'll ask City Councilman Minke tomorrow. By the way, after a long hiatus, Councilman Dave Flattery, will be on this program at 2:30 on Friday as Janice Valentine takes the day off. It's too bad. You know, the two people, of course, that I thought would want to respond to Senator Jerry Bain and Senator Jerry Bain, both at Eggs and Issues on Saturday morning out to Iowa Central Community College and on this radio program the other day, was very forceful about the idea of changing the way we select Supreme Court justices in the state of Iowa. Yeah, and of course, Janice Valentine and Jerry Schnurr are two of the most outspoken people in opposition to the idea of change. And they're great people. Jerry's been on the program almost from the beginning, and Janice has been on for, a couple of years, maybe 3 years now already. It's unbelievable. And they're both really decent, deep down decent people and very intelligent. And I think Jerry and Janice both have brought something not to this radio station, but to our town with their appearances on this radio station. They have been a fine example of what community radio in a town the size of Fort Dodge can do. You know, I'm just a guy that works at the radio station. I don't have any special talent other than I'm willing to ask anybody anything and occasionally get crazy. That's my talent. But Janice and Jerry have an entirely different skill set. I mean, they are deeply committed to their profession, and I don't understand their reasoning. I've quizzed them about this. Apparently, though 38 states, are you ready for this? Now I'm going to say it to you again. And I'm so sick of talking about judges and fireworks. Get out of our way, please. Get all these obstacles out of our way. Let us have a little fireworks on the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. And let's not have a monarchy. So let's do something about the judiciary. I mean, I think that's a good idea. I'm opposed to a monarchy. I don't know about you. But if you're in favor of a monarchy, it's 515-955-1400. Because you cannot say we're a free people or even a democratic country or state if we have a completely unaccountable group making the big decisions for us, especially when it comes to our culture and our community morals. The Supreme Court has decided that they're in charge of that. They've shoved the clergy down the stairs, so to speak, and they've appointed themselves the high priests of culture and morals. I don't believe that they should have that authority. Now, more importantly, we're told regularly, it's in the Des Moines Register all the time. The Des Moines Register has had people in their opinion page regularly talking about, well, we have a system that's the envy of the nation. If that's the case, why do 38 states allow some form of voting on judges? It's a simple question. If we have a system of choosing judges that's the envy of the nation, why is everybody else okay with electing judges? Oh, well, we don't want to get these big, rich companies in here, spending a lot of money electing their conservative judges. I want to tell you, in Washington State, they elect judges, and it's a free-for-all as to who is the most liberal, who is going to just sanctify every sort of what I consider sexual strangeness. The judges in Washington State are hard left judges, and they go after the vote by putting out there that they are going to vote against the capitalist system, the idea of faith, or any sort of normalcy in human behavior when it comes to sexual relations. So and by the way, there are a number of states exactly like that. Now I've asked, who's rating us? Who's rating our system the best? And I'm told the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Well, I don't know. I don't know if a group of judges who vote to shove religion and faith and a traditional understanding of human behavior from the public square and vote for business to cement the role of business in a superior position is a court or a system that I would support. This really hasn't caught the imagination of a lot of people out there, but it should. This vote is going to be an important vote on judicial selection. It should be an important first step in getting some kind of handle on an institution that's been out of control. Political. The discussion we're having about judicial selection is truly Orwellian. Oh, this is an attempt by the Republicans to politicize the court. The court's politicized. And the people making these accusations, usually liberals, know it. The court is politicized. If it is politicized, then yes, the people of the state of Iowa, if they're going to say that they have a modicum of freedom, need to have a say in the selection of judges. And as a matter of fact, I believe that direct elections of judges is the way to go. Anybody can challenge me on this. Anybody can challenge me on this very simple point. The Supreme Court in the state of Iowa cannot be challenged on these things. They simply cannot be challenged. The barriers are so high Mike Gronstall, when he was in the Senate, was Senate Majority Leader, he would not allow a vote on Varnum. There was an attempt to, remember some people were running around with those "Let Us Vote" t-shirts. Not a chance, according to Gronstall. He considered it a civil right. Well, some others may consider gay marriage a civil right. But 7 people on the court, and Mike Gronstall shouldn't make that decision. It was a colossal exercise in vanity and arrogance. And it showed, some of the justices showed a real contempt for average people in the state of Iowa. Yes, I can go into that at another time. Just look up the lyrics to a Green Day song called American Idiot. That's what one of the ousted Supreme Court justices thought of the people who voted him out. Check that out sometime. Green Day, American Idiot. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're listening to KVFD in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Thank you very much. I look forward to talking with you tomorrow.
For exciting Panther sports, keep it right here on your home for University of Northern Iowa sports in North Central Iowa. The voice of Fort Dodge, KVFD, Fort Dodge.
A shocking reversal. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Jussie Smollett says he's innocent, but a Chicago prosecutor says he still believes the Empire actor lied about being attacked on the street in January, despite dropping the case against him. And the mayor is furious. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, first Assistant State's Attorney Joseph Magatz on Chicago TV maintained that Smollett filed a false police report. But Smollett, upon hearing the charges were dropped, says he stands by his claims of total innocence.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
But Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel fired back forcefully, saying that Smollett sent a message using his celebrity status.
That if you're in a position of influence and power, you'll get treated one way. Other people will be treated another way.
Smollett says he now just wants to get back to work and put this behind him, Lisa.
Gernal, 8 universities caught up in the massive cheating scandal, now the subject of a federal investigation. Fox's Steve Rappaport has this live.
Lisa, the Department of Education sent letters to the schools asking for documents related to the case and other records. The department investigating whether they violated rules surrounding management of federal student aid. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos previously saying officials are looking into whether department rules were violated. More than 30 people face charges in the multi-million-dollar scheme in which wealthy parents are accused of bribing their kids' way into college. Multiple reports saying Yale expelled a student linked to the scandal. The University of Southern California may expel students as well. Lisa?
Steve, a procedural vote in the Senate to begin debate on the so-called Green New Deal fails to get the 60 votes needed to begin that debate. There were no yes votes. All 57 Republicans voted no, while all Democrats voting present. Over in the House, Democrats failed to get enough votes to override President Trump's veto of the National Emergency Declaration to fund the border wall. This is Fox News.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
And basic motorcycle policies start at just $75 a year. I know, right? Do you think I say I know right too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
I know.
Yeah, even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
There's nothing small about your business. Your passion, your hours, your reputation, it's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
After making
your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. An ordinance that will require fireworks tents to be 100 feet from any structure in Fort Dodge was amended to adding trailers and shipping containers to the measure. Due to the amendment, City Council had to start over and re-vote on the first reading. The measure passed 5-2. The entire state of Iowa will be partaking in a tornado drill tomorrow morning. Webster County Emergency Management Coordinator Dylan Hagan has the details.
10 o'clock, the weather service is going to do a test tornado watch. And then to follow that at 10:15, there will be a tornado warning, a test tornado warning issued across the state. And at that point, we will be activating the outdoor warning sirens. We're going to be testing a new system that we have in there, so the sirens will probably be going off more than once. So don't be concerned if you hear them go off several times.
A woman from rural Manly is charged with 17 counts of animal neglect after more than 150 animals were seized from an alleged puppy mill back in November. Radio Hour's Bob Fisher reports.
The charges were filed last week in Worth County District Court against 66-year-old Barbara Kavars. Officials seized 154 dogs and 4 cats from the property. In several visits to the property, a Worth County Sheriff's deputy says he saw kennels covered with feces and mud and visibly skinny dogs with no water and little food. Court records described overcrowded and filthy conditions at the rural Manly property. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals cared for the animals and called the operation a puppy mill. Kavars in January wanted 9 dogs and 4 cats to be returned to her. Our Worth County Magistrate Douglas Kroll ruled against Kavars, saying the dogs and cats are among those neglected and that they qualified as threatened animals. Animal neglect is a simple misdemeanor. Each charge is punishable by up to 30 days in jail and up to a $625 fine. Bob Fisher, Radio Iowa, Manly.
At Monday's Fort Dodge City Council meeting, the council rejected bids for the Olson Park renovations project. Fort Dodge City Manager David Fierick explained what's next for the project.
Next step is to get the thing redesigned and bid out more appropriately to our budget. So we are going to, at our next council meeting, set a hearing for another bid date, have the hearing, and then we'll get good bids, and then we'll be awarding the contract. So it'll be at least a month from now before we're hopefully awarding a contract.
Fierick says the city will extend out the construction time period and redesign some of the project to make it more cost effective. In local sports, summer collegiate baseball is coming to Fort Dodge this summer. The Fort Dodge Gypsum Miners will play in the Pioneer Collegiate Baseball League. Owner Donnie Roberts says he's excited to bring collegiate baseball to Fort Dodge.
I hope Fort Dodge realizes we want to be an asset to Fort Dodge. And also we want to bring a good entertainment value on the nights, bring the full family out there. You know, there'll be skits between innings, the announcers. We try to bring a festival atmosphere for that night. So it's not just all about baseball. It's about people having a good time in the field that night.
The Gypsum Minor season starts May 30th and ends the first week of August. For more information, contact Roberts at 715.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios. It's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. You jump in. We'll talk about your life, your money. It is a free call at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Canada is calling. Rick is on the line. Hi, Rick. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Doing good. You?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, Dave. 25, household income, probably 90 to 100K. Saving up to buy some cows, debt-free. Anytime I talk to what I view successful farmers, it always comes up, oh, you should get a loan for the cows. It's only about 2%. They got all these programs. Guess I'm just looking for a reason, or what's a good response in that? It sounds good, but I know I probably shouldn't be getting the debt.
Yeah. Well, I'm not required to respond to them. I'm just required to make my own decisions.
No. I'm not really to myself, really.
Okay.
Like, because these people are successful farmers in my books, and that's kind of, I guess, how they got to that point.
Yeah. I knew a bunch of people in the real estate business I thought were successful too until the market turned down. And now they're all broke because they lost their real estate. It went down in value. They couldn't keep tenants in it. They couldn't cash flow it. I was successful in the real estate business. I had $4 million worth by the time I was 26 years old, starting from nothing. But I had borrowed on all of it. And by the time I was 28, I lost it all. So, the problem with success is you can take a snapshot in time and you can't really see everything that's really going on behind the scenes, and you can't see out into the future when there's a downturn what's going to happen. So what if beef prices were to be like volatile and go down? That's probably never happened.
That would never happen, Dave.
Yeah, you could get stuck with cows that you owe more on them than you're worth. I mean, being upside down on a car is painful. Being upside down on a cow is really painful. So, yeah, I'm just not borrowing money. The borrower is slave to the lender. It is going to require that you grow your business slower, but you will survive the downturns and you'll always have cash.
Perfect.
And I just
another question.
I had to decide to be the tortoise rather than the hare. Slow and steady wins the race.
Perfect. As far as retirement, just with cash flowing these cows and all that, it takes quite a bit of your income out.
Yeah.
Should a guy still be trying to do the 15% into his retirement, or is it okay if I view that as a bit kind of like retirement? Or?
I probably wouldn't want all my retirement in cows.
No.
But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if basically you're running a small business, is what we're saying, and you're going to invest some of your profits of your small business back into additional inventory. That's basically what a farmer is doing, and so I'm always the whole time I've been doing, I've been investing, and you might kind of set your cow business over to the side and say, if that's your whole business, if that's your whole household income, then the net profits after having reinvested back into next year's crop, so to speak, is what you would put 15% on. And so you will have already bought the cows before you calculated the 15%, if that's the way you were doing it. Now, you don't want to obviously drain the whole thing down to nothing. So we do want to put something into retirement when you're at baby step 4, in addition to investing into your own small business. Lola's with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Lola. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I have a question. I have a CD I have an IRA that's in a CD that's going to mature at the end of the month. My friend recommended that I roll it over to fixed index annuity. When I asked about a mutual fund, she said no, because the market's due for self-correction, and they wouldn't recommend that. And she said an annuity would guarantee I would get my money and not lose anything. So I'm really confused on which way I should go with this.
Gotcha. Okay. How old are you?
43.
Okay. And how much money's in this CD?
Very little. I mean, about 15,000.
Okay, good. Well, that's more than some got. So it's a good start. Well, here's the thing: the market, the real estate market, and the stock market. There's one thing you can count on: it's going to go up and it's going to go down. You can count on that. So, is it going to go down from here? Yes. Is it going to go up from here? Yes. And you're only 43. So over the last 20 years, what's the stock market done? It's gone down, it's gone up. In the last 20